Hi everyone, welcome to the Smith & Sons podcast. My name's Max Peterson. I'm the CEO of Smith & Sons, and have I got a treat for you today? My guest in the studio is Carley Rangen from Olive Tree Design, and it is a pleasure to have her join me for this podcast. If all goes well, we will probably do it again, but we'll just wait and see how we go on the first one.
We'll see how this one goes.
Yeah, for sure. So, Carley, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you for having me, Max.
Oh, it's going to be a pleasure. I just know it is.
I have a good sense.
Look, I think, what we want to do, the idea of this is that, I think that people can get information so readily, whether it's YouTube or the internet in general, but it's hard to get information that's reliable and credible. So what we're trying to do with the Smith & Sons podcast is to deliver that information that is reliable and that is something that they can take away. And I want to make sure that they can literally go, oh yeah, now that'll help me with my renovation, or that'll help me in the design process. And so at Smith & Sons, we like to handle everything from design right through to construction and completion, so from concept to completion. And, I think a lot of the, let's call it witchcraft and sorcery, is definitely in the design phase. And of course, we have the design plan construct. And, we do work hard at trying to sort of talk to people about the design phase, which is the most important, because if you can get that down, it enables the builder, gives him some clarity to be able to really give you, and we work on fixed price quotes. We don't do cost plus.
Right.
And so, it's your level of expertise that I think our audience can really benefit from, the insight. So, we just, before we come on air, we talked about, the subject of biophilic design. I remembered
You got it.
Yeah,
You said
that's what I'm talking about. And so, and I think in layman's terms, when I said, what is that? It's where we bring the outside in and we connect the inside to the outside, and we've got the Nano Doors. And from where I come from, we call that al fresco.
Yes.
And it's where you have these big 16-foot wide openings that lead out to a deck. And of course, we're in the Okanagan Valley here, so it's, it's pretty special, and we can benefit from that sort of environment. So we want to take the most of that. So I think I'd love to maybe just kick off the first episode that we've ever done with you and just talk about, what people can do to maybe take what they have, as far as it might be the original house that was, designed 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. And then maybe we just leverage or lever off your experience and what you've seen and how you've advised clients in the past. And so, we'll kick on with this and we'll see where it goes, because that's about the amount of planning that we've done. So,
it's good.
Take it away. Let's go. Let's do this.
Thanks, Max. I appreciate it. Biophilic design is close to my heart, as I've grown up in the Okanagan. And we're just kind of this, we used to be a hidden gem. I don't think we're a very hidden gem anymore. People have caught on to what we have
I've told
here.
all of my Australian buddies.
Everybody knows.
I know it's fairly unusual to have an Aussie in the Okanagan, especially up at Silver Star.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, unless you're up at Silver Star.
Mm-hmm.
But see, here we do. It's all about lifestyle. You can ski, you can hike, you can bike, you can golf. It's all about lifestyle, being outside. I think if you spoke to the majority of people that live here, they very much recognize they either moved here for the lifestyle or knew someone or family who encouraged them to move here. So getting to the design aspect of it, you talked about Nano Doors, huge. I mean, we had one company who started with Nano Doors, and now every window and door company is trying to produce something of the similar fashion. I'm doing a new build here coming up right now. They're actually putting one in their kitchen, so they can actually just slide dinner out through the kitchen window.
Can we just ensure that everyone's like, you've used the term Nano Doors, which is a brand.
Yes.
For maybe folks that are still catching up, can we just explain?
Sure.
Can you paint a picture? Let's say from like a dining room or a living room going out. Can you just explain? Because from where I come from, they called stacker doors. Because all of those panels slide to one end.
Yes. So you literally take your wall. So if you had a wall in your living room and you had a Nano Door or stackable doors, you are able to slide them or stack them and open it right up. So often we have living rooms that open up to large decks. You're basically just removing that door or that window.
And that could be, what's the largest stacker door or Nano door?
That I wouldn't be able to tell you the full,
but they're 14
probably right up there to, almost 15 feet. So, I mean, so that's a lovely way. I mean, it's easy here in the Okanagan to incorporate nature into our homes. I mean, everything from bringing plants indoors to, you can talk about window and door placement with airflow. it's easy here. When you start going to the urban areas, people who sit in big office buildings, they're under fluorescent tubes. They have no greenery. They have no outside sounds. They're looking at building common areas, rooftop patios, staff rooms with live walls, which are plants. They're looking at any possible way just to bring that outdoors, indoors. I mean, you look at people, what are we generally drawn to? Water is a big one. People always want to go on holidays. Where do you want to go? I want to be by a lake, or I want to be by an ocean. So, I mean, we are creatures of the outdoors. We just always, not everybody loves birds. Some people are afraid of them. Not everybody loves swimming.
I know a lot of Canadians that are afraid of spiders and snakes.
There's a lot of that. Sharks.
Oh, wow. Overplaying it. It's not that
but
big
we
a
like
deal.
to look at it. We want to be near it.
Sure.
We want to hear the seagulls and, breathe the fresh air. So there's this whole sense of, it just brings this sense of calmness. And now, obviously, in the world we live in today, people are spending more and more time in their own homes. So seeing a lot of renovations, a lot of people moving out of the big urban areas into the lovely Okanagan and other smaller areas. So it really is just creating a sanctuary for people that they want to go home. They want to get that sense of, I'm away, but yet I'm at home. So yeah, it's cool. It's interesting to have those conversations with clients, and how you can see their eyes light up when you start talking about the whole concept. They're like, oh, I can't wait. I just want to sit on my deck in the summer. So to have that whole sense through all 12 months, I can do that. It's like, absolutely.
I mean, I know a lot of my buddies in town here love to go to Mexico, and so, obviously with travel restrictions at the moment, a lot of those guys and gals haven't been able to do that. A lot of the snowbirds that would go to Phoenix, Arizona in the winter, that didn't happen. So I'm running into ex-clients or past clients that we've done work for in winter, and I'm like, hey, what are you doing here, Sandy? Like, really? And I think what I like about that whole Nano Door and the Biophilic design is that
such a good
I'm
word.
nailing that so
well. It's like Schluter. We'll go talk Schluter next time.
Well, let's talk Schluter. I think that it's bringing that resort lifestyle, and it is very resort-ish. To be able to walk inside, maybe, fix yourself a drink and then walk back out and just have that connection between the inside and the outside. And like you say, I mean, it's funny, when I first came to Canada, I'm like, what is it? Like, we came in February, so we caught the tail end of winter, and we were in the Okanagan, by September. And I'm like, what is with all the people out just sitting on the grass? See, where I come from, it's like this all year round.
Right.
Like, I could wear jean shorts, flip-flops, and a T-shirt in winter by 9 o'clock in the morning,
Nice.
And so I took it all for granted. And then, of course, you sit here, and I know that the Okanagan has a very mild winter. I'm not that naive anymore. Once upon
You're a Vernonite now, Max.
Once upon a time I was. I thought this was just too cold. But, I think it's I appreciate the sunshine now a lot more.
Oh, absolutely.
And so it really does resonate at a higher level, the fact that the appreciation for that, bringing the outside in and all that sort of thing, it's a powerful thing to be able to, and especially now where people are like, well, now I'm stuck at home and I don't have a deck, or I don't have to be able to get outside. Yeah, I think it's important that if they're going to renovate, something along those lines is incorporated into their design.
Absolutely. Well, even in those shoulder seasons, there's lots of patio heaters. There's lots of hot tubs.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Hot
tubs
tubs
are cool.
and pools.
Yeah.
Like, I think people are booking 2022 for them. That's
Right.
how popular they have become. So, again, it's just being, near water, being outside.
So what else complements? Let's talk about home design. What else? Let's say they've got, because I know, because we have a strong winter season here. What else do you find complements a Nano Door design? Like, is that the central part, or is that just a complementary part?
No, that's just an aspect of it. Yeah, I mean, if one was to Google biophilic design, you'll get lots of different design ideas and options out there. And I like to make it personal with people. Not design isn't A plus B equals C. I find it's very custom. It's really about relating what matters to you. Like, how does this make you feel? So you want the cozy cable knit blanket by the fire, and you want to have, your rocks that you went and picked up on your nature hike this past fall. It's all about those things that people connect with. I do artwork, and I will often say to people, you can't have it unless you love it. So same is true for design. I never go in and say, so this is what they're doing in Toronto, or this is what's happening in Vegas. So we're going to just do everything in marble. You cool with that? And they look and go, no. So it's not really about, I mean, trends are fun. They are fun because they do make you think outside the box. But it's about who are you as a human being and what do you relate to, and what is going to be meaningful to you when you get home and you get off work and you want to chill out.
It's very lifestyle centric for individuals.
Totally.
So, myself and Liz with 6 kids would have a different...
Your baseball team.
Yeah, my baseball team would have a different design to a retired couple.
Absolutely. It's all very individual. And again, that's why I think people struggle. I mean, my artistic brain can swing around and put lots of different things together because it's not a mathematical equation. So when somebody struggles with that...
But that's typical creative.
It is creative, totally.
There is nothing logical about it.
No, it's not. And I will say that to people. You know what? As long as it looks good and you like it, it doesn't really matter if you have a set of 3 or 4 or 5. I mean, there are some things that subconsciously we take in and go, oh yeah, that setup there, that makes sense to me. But I mean, I will actually ask people, are you symmetrical? Because when we do your kitchen cabinets, if that isn't symmetrical, that's going to bug you every day.
Interesting.
If you're okay with asymmetrical, like I don't know why, I like symmetrical landscaping, but I am not a symmetrical person. I'm an artist, so I like going outside the box. Inside, I'm asymmetrical all over the place. But I'm very mindful of listening to how people function, what they see. It's not really about what I see. It's about what they see. So it's really talking them through it, especially when I'm dealing with couples. She may see purple. He sees blue. So it's about trying to get into their vision and see what they see and then talk it through.
So tell me that when obviously you would gather inquiries from different avenues now with digital, whether it comes directly through a website or comes through social, tell the audience about how you interact, because I know we chatted with this over lunch, a bit about, you go into the him and her thing and just help dispel or, maybe uncover some of the mystery around the power of a designer and how they can help, and I don't want to sort of put I don't want to stereotype the dudes or the guys.
No, or the girls.
Well, yeah, okay, so one or the other. But so what is it that when you're dealing with homeowners and they've called you and says, well, we're going to get a general contractor to do this, but we need to come up with some designs and some design ideas.
Right.
Can you run us through a fairly typical process that you might think in your mind is, well, I face this, it's fairly common that this is what I'll go through, this is the conversation I've got to have, this is the outcome.
Absolutely. Well, and so I say this all very generally because it's our area.
It's very non-specific.
It's very non-specific, and this is very much to what I have discovered over time. I chuckle because it is quite similar each case. But if I go into a couple's home and him and her are there together, she's very excited, typically, because she's doing design and she loves design and she wants to see her home become this magical place. And he's a little bit more reserved, and I can read
the body language.
The body language is,
I'd rather be watching the football.
You're going to make me do what? And you're going to cost me a lot of money. But then as we start chatting, paying attention, getting to know them, listening to what their concerns are, budget is always right up there as one of the concerns, so you very much have to be mindful. We all have a cap. And just letting them kind of share what the process has been up to that point, what their goals are, where they want to go. Most people, I hear an awful lot, I know what I like, but I don't know how to put it together. So that's where I come in. I'm visual. So, I mean, that's why I do what I do. So I kind of do a lot of hand-holding. So once we start getting into the process and we start meeting and we start picking items and I explain how things go together or maybe make some different suggestions than what they currently were looking at, then they kind of get this rhythm and then this trust develops. And that's the point I just love because now all of a sudden the barriers are down, the defenses are down, there's joking, we're having fun, we're laughing, and that's what it should be about because this is a space you want to enjoy. I mean, home is where your family is at, so it should be about fun and laughter. So then once we kind of get into it, I will quite regularly hear him, you let me know what Carley says, and when she's got it down to 3 options, I'll be here for you, sweetie.
Yeah, I guess it's not exactly their forte traditionally, I suppose.
Some are, some love it.
But I think what you're presenting is something that obviously people don't have a problem spending money on something that's valuable.
Absolutely.
And so, what you're presenting, like you say, they kind of know what they want, they just don't know how to put it together.
Exactly.
So, when you're talking about spending 50, 100, 200,000, on the build, you kind of need to make sure that the thing is what you want, know. And I think it's super important that you have a really clear understanding of what the end result's going to be, because once you're halfway through that, there's kind of no going back. And if you're going to sort of start altering designs, it's going to cost you money.
Well, and just explaining, like, I mean, if people aren't accustomed to renovating, or they don't know the terminology, or they don't understand, I mean, from countertop edging to how is that going to fit with my sink to, I mean, all those things. My job is really to talk them through it and try to explain. So this is what this is going to look like. Are you going to like that? So when we're all done, they're not looking back going, gee, I wish I had done that. Or, through the process, they're not lying in bed at night going over and over all the decisions. They can actually sleep because I've talked them through it. They feel confident with what they've chosen, and they know that I'm there watching out for all that. Because people tend to, like anything, we all get tunnel vision. When you're focused on one thing, it's like you're buying a car. All you see is that car that you're going to buy. Oh my God, there's a Toyota. There's another Toyota. When you're picking tile, you're picking hardwood.
Shameless plug for Toyota there.
Sorry, take that back. I drive a Toyota.
Okay, fair enough.
Fair enough. They forget about everything else that they just picked. So I'm just there to kind of guide them and say, okay, yeah, that's going to look great with all your other selections. So like I say, I really, truly handhold them through the design part of it.
Yeah, and I think with everything that we do at Smith & Sons, we because we've got, it's basically a one-stop shop, and one of our guys in town here has a full-time designer that works for him. But the majority, builders, they will say, clients will go and say, well, I want to build this. And the builder will say, well, you go and find an architect and bring it back to me. And the poor homeowner's like, I've never dealt with an architect. Yeah. And really, before you go to an architect, you probably should chat it to a designer, or at least chat it to a designer simultaneously in that design process.
Absolutely.
And so I can't imagine, being a homeowner is basically being thrown to the wolves and doesn't have real context as to, what makes a good designer, and then being able to sort of put that relationship together, and then going to an architect, that sort of thing. Absolutely. So I guess for you, what you're saying is that you'll help get the ball rolling with homeowners. And then, I guess if they come in contact with the general contractor that they like, he may or may not have an architect, but you still are involved in that process.
Oh, absolutely. I'll walk them through the whole process. So whether it's a renovation or a new build, from start to finish. In fact, I'll go in at the end and do furniture package and hang artwork. What I hear a lot too is the gratitude and appreciation of just being able to be I'm often the middleman or the middle person.
Right.
I'm speaking to the general contractor.
So you're like an interpreter.
Yeah, kind of. They'll tell me what they
want. The
want.
builder's like, I don't speak design.
No, they do actually.
Oh, okay.
No, I speak to the builder. I speak to the homeowner. I speak to the suppliers. I speak to the homeowner. And they also feel comforted in knowing that I'm following up. Are you guys going to show up today to do the templating for the countertops? Right. Is this happening? I don't just give them a design board and say, here you go. Good luck. Take care. It goes back to that hand holding. I'm there for them. If they have questions, concerns, they call me, they text me. I'm easy to get in touch with. And I'm supporting them through the whole process with exactly the communication piece of it is just following up.
And so is there any way that do you have, obviously you've got a website.
I do.
Okay, and when you're pricing your services, is there a way that you can do that, or do you have to basically, is it case by case? Like when we cost renovations, the square foot thing doesn't really come into it.
It's tricky.
Everyone's different. Everything's different.
I just do an hourly rate because I do everything just from an hour paint consult all the way up to a new build.
Right.
So somebody may spend an hour with me. The next person may spend 60 hours with me. Right. So it's really person dependent as to how.
So as they demand, if they need a lot of help, you're happy to do that.
Absolutely.
If they're minimalistic and they're like, no, I just need to kind of get pointed in the right direction, and then they're off, you're happy with that too.
Yep. As long as I have had in the past, some will say, no, I just need help with tile and I'm good. And then, 3/4 of the way, they've made all these decisions and they come back and go, could you bring your magic fairy wand and fix all this? Because I don't know what I've done. So that one gets a little bit tricky. So if I have that kind of situation, I'll just say, do your homework. But if you want to just check in with me, I'd rather just check in with you along the way and just see where you're at instead of kind of, starting hearing, not hearing, and then hearing at the end and backtracking.
All right. Well, I think that's been good. I think that's if that hasn't enlightened
Was that your
you,
15 minutes?
I don't know. I don't know what is. But I hope you've enjoyed that. So if you're in YouTube land or if you're in podcast driving down the highway, listening to us buzzing around your car, we hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you found that enlightening, informative, educative. And my name's Max. And look, if you've got any questions, anything that you would like us to talk about, I think Carley's good enough. We'll get her back. I think she's.
I passed the test.
I think she's good fun. And look, if you want to, if you got any questions, look, feel free to email me direct at max@smithandsons.ca, and we will get back to you. We'll fairly promptly. We'll get back to you, and maybe your question will feature on the next show. So it's been great talking to you. Great having Carley along from Olive Tree Design. Thanks for joining us.
Very nice to be here. Thank you.
And we will see you all next time. Have a great day.
Take care.